Welcome back to Crypto Unlocked. I'm your host, Crypto Daryl, and when people talk about alt season, they usually think of crazy green candles, meme coins going wild, and the market heating up everywhere at once. But the truth is, alt season doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It builds in stages. It starts quiet with a few coins breaking out, then it slowly spreads across the market. Right now, all the signs are pointing to be in the early stages of alt season. One project that's showing up strong at this very moment is the XDC Network. Between new partnerships, massive integrations, and steady outperformance, XDC is starting to look like a serious leader in the next cycle. Today, I'm going to break it all down. What's happening with XDC? What it means for alt season, and what still needs to happen for it to fully kick off. The risks you've got to keep in mind, and why the early stages are where the biggest opportunities always hide. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's go. Let's start with what's new. XDC has been quietly stacking wins while the market wasn't paying attention. The biggest headline lately is Circle's decision to bring USDC and CCTP V2 directly onto the XDC network. This isn't just a nice to have an update, this is a game changer. USDC is the most trusted dollar-backed stablecoin in crypto. With it now natively living on the XDC network, institutions, traders, and businesses can use a regulated stablecoin without relying on wrapped assets or risky bridges. That's huge. That's huge because stablecoins are the lifeblood of crypto. They would allow people to move money safely, settle trades instantly, and actually use blockchain for real finance. On top of that, CCTP V2 lets USDC move across chains instantly, safely, and without the middleman. So when Circle decided to bring this upgrade to XDC, it wasn't just a random choice. It was a signal that XDC was ready for prime time. Now, this upgrade sets the stage for XDC's core use case, trade finance. We're talking about multi-trillion-dollar industry that's still stuck in the Stone Age, running on paper contracts, slow settlements, and outdated systems. XDC has always positioned itself as the blockchain that can fix this. And now with USDC Live, those promises can actually be delivered. Banks and institutions want stable, reliable settlement options. Now they have that on the XDC network. That makes pilots and real-world deals far more likely in the months coming. This is the type of utility that separates a sleeping giant from the rest of the pack. But it doesn't stop there. Another huge development is the rise of real-world asset tokenization, also known as RWAs. Everyone from BlackRock to JP Morgan is looking at tokenizing assets like bonds, real estates, invoices, and credit markets. And XDC is right in the middle of this humongous wave. There are already projects lining up to tokenize billions of dollars worth of assets on the XDC, including Vert Capital's plan to tokenize $1 billion of private credit. Now, couple that with USDC on-chain, and suddenly XDC becomes a serious settlement layer for RWAs. That's not a speculative dream. That's happening right now. And in alt seasons, narratives like this grounded in real-world adoptions are the ones that explode the hardest once retail money catches on. Another sign XDC is gaining traction is its performance against Bitcoin and Ethereum. Over the last year, XDC has quietly outperformed both BTC and ETH in terms of percentage gains. While everyone else was chasing obvious plays, XDC was climbing under the radar. That's a classic early alt season signal. Certain alts start to move before the crowd even realizes what's happening. And when people notice that an alt is outperforming the majors, money starts rotating into that. That's where we are with XDC right now. Now, don't forget about institutional access. One of the biggest challenges for altcoins is getting listed on regulated exchanges and creating on-ramps for bigger money to flow in. XDC has solved a lot of this over the last year. It's listed listed on Binance.us, Kraken, and even has an ETP, an exchange-traded product launched on the Swiss SIX exchange. That means European investors can buy XDC like they would buy a stock. When you see these kinds of institutional products popping on up, you know serious players are getting interested. And that kind of access isn't just about hype. It translates into real liquidity during the alt season. On the technical side, though, XDC also has a strong staking and tokenomics. Over $300 million worth of XDC is locked up in staking, reducing supply on the open market. Now, combine that with the upcoming XDC 2.0 upgrade, which will bring faster finality and protocol improvements, and you've got a blockchain that's improving under the hood while gaining mainstream access. That's a powerful combination heading into a liquidity wave. Now let's zoom out and talk about alt season more broadly. We're in the early stages, and here's how you can tell. First, Bitcoin dominance has started to slip. That means money is slowly rotating out of Bitcoin and into altcoins. Secondly, altcoin trading volume is creeping higher than relative to Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's another sign of life. Third, coins like XDC are starting to outperform quietly. Historically, this is exactly how alt seasons start. A few coins start to lead, then others will follow, until suddenly the whole market is just moving. But to be clear, we're not fully in full swing just yet. To get there, a few more things need to happen. We need to see more 30 to 50 altcoins sustain gains over multiple weeks, not just a couple of spikes. We need Bitcoin dominance to keep dropping and break some key levels to free up capital for alts. We need to see DeFi protocols and XDC and other chains actually start growing their total value locked. And we need macro conditions to help, like interest rate cuts or regulation clarity. When all those start to align, that's when altcoin season will be in full effect. Of course, there are risks. USDC and CCTP are massive upgrades, but adoption takes time. Institutions don't flip a switch overnight. Regulations can also shift suddenly, and if governments crack down on stablecoins or tokenization, that could slow the progress. The market itself is volatile. Early alt season often brings fake outs and sharp pullbacks before the real move comes. And competition is always there. XRP, Stellar, HBAR, they're all chasing the same space as XDC. The difference is XDC has USDC Live, but the competition isn't going away. So what does that mean for you? If you believe we're in early alt season, then now is the time to watch the fundamentals closely. Pay attention to how USDC is being used on XDC. Watch for trade finance pilots, real-world asset tokenizations, and growth in staking. Keep an eye on Bitcoin dominance, because if it keeps dropping, that's more fuel for alts. And don't just chase hype coins. Focus on projects like XDC that are building real-world adoption. Those are the ones that last beyond the pump. And the bottom line is alt season might not be in full swing just yet, but the early stages are showing. And XDC is one of the clearest examples, with USDC integration, real-world asset tokenization outperforming the majors, institutional access, and strong tokenomics. It has all the ingredients to lead the charge. The risks are real, but so is the opportunity. Because if you look back at the past cycles, the biggest gains didn't come from chasing what was already moving. They came from spotting the coins with the strongest fundamentals in the earliest stages and holding as a crowd caught on. And right now, that's exactly where we are with XDC, and that's how it stands. But before we wrap up, I want to give a quick shout out to today's video partner, BTCC Exchange. If you're serious about trading alt season, you need a platform that's reliable, fast, and gives you leverage on these options. That's exactly why I use BTCC. They've been around since 2011, making them one of the longest running exchanges in the entire crypto space. So you know they've got the experience and trust on their side. On BTCC, you can trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, XDC, and tons of other altcoins with competitive fees and smooth execution. And the best part is, if you use my link in the description, you'll get 10% off your trading fees. That means more profits stay in your pocket, where they belong. So if you're looking to level up your trading this alt season, check out BTCC through my link down below and lock in that 10% discount. Don't miss out on saving money while you are a trader. Trade smarter, not harder.